try to talk on here. So, what I was saying before in my hour and 29-minute long video there that I just started, which I don't understand whatsoever, is that we have come to such a sick place in our world today with the mindset of people. People's mindset. Okay, what's this? Okay, see, it didn't do that before. Now I know I'm lying. You know, you just think in your head today, what the fuck is going on in the world? What the fuck is going on in America today? We'll take one situation where I'll show you how people's mindsets are just disgusting today. Let's take that situation with the Carmelo Anthony case. So what that was some kid was at a track meet. He was sitting in some other kid's tent. These other kids come up to him, they tell him, hey, get out of our tent. Now, I don't know if these kids came up to him and they were like, hey, excuse me, but this is our tent, and could you please move from it? I highly doubt that that's how that went there. So let's just say the kids came up aggressively to him. Let's say that they came up, hey, get the fuck out of our tent right now, this is our fucking tent. Blah, 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 what the fuck? You know, let's just say that the other kids came up to him aggressively and told him, get the fuck out of our tent. At what point did they do anything to make him fear his life? And then let's just say they did. Let's ask this question first. Why was he there? And then let's screw every other little question here. Let's think about this right here. If them roles were reversed, oh my God, this is gonna. If the roles were reversed in that Carmelo Anthony situation, if they were reversed, nobody would be praising, nobody would praise the person who stabbed the other person in the chest. If the roles were reversed. What do I mean by if the roles were reversed? Well, what the fuck do you think I mean if the roles were reversed? If that kid who stabbed the other kid in the chest was white, it'd be a complete different fucking story. That's what. It would be such a different story. He would not be praised as a hero. No one would be sending him money. All races would be condemning him, period. If them roles were reversed, everyone would condemn him because he'd be seen for what he is. A psychopathic kid who shouldn't have been there, who stabbed someone. But since the roles weren't reversed, he's being praised as some type of hero. I don't care what happened in that situation. I don't care. Nobody should have died at a track meet that day. Not a white person, not a black person, not a teacher, not a student. Nobody should have died that day. Yet somebody did. And that person's being praised as a fucking hero. He's rose over $160,000 already. And I just want to point out the sick fucking mindset of people today. If them roles were reversed, that kid would be looked at for exactly what he is. No one would praise that kid whatsoever. I don't understand how we've got to a point in our society where we praise people who kill other people. That makes no sense whatsoever to me. I don't give a fuck about what color you are. It makes no sense to praise somebody for killing another person whatsoever. What kind of world are we living in today? Well, all you have to do is turn the news on. All you have to do is watch a couple TikTok videos, YouTube. It doesn't matter where you go. We live in such a messed up world today that people's mindsets are so warped. They're so distorted. They're so messed up from the delusion of everything put. Man, we are basically taught that we are bad people for being born if we are white. That is ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever fucking heard in my fucking life. Being taught that you are a bad person because you were born. Because you were born a certain color. You know what? It's not nobody's fault on this fucking planet how they were born or where they were born or even what they were named. We didn't have a choice in none of that shit. None of us. You always better fucking remember that while you're sitting there judging someone for being born. That not a soul on this planet chose to be born. None of us did. I didn't choose to be the person I am as far as my skin color goes, as far as being born where I was, America, as far as my fucking name. I didn't even get to choose my own name. Yet we live in a society today that teaches people if you were born my skin color, you are a bad person. That's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, maybe if you were born in 14 fucking hundred, maybe if you were born in 1700 or even 1800, maybe even the early 19 fucking hundreds, maybe you were a bad person because your brain was distorted because you were raised by a society who liked slavery. And every society did. It wasn't just America. Every fucking where liked slavery. That's why you were the way you were back then. Today, nobody is fucking like that. Don't nobody want that shit. I grew up my fucking life, I have every kind of fucking friend there is. White, black, Asian, Mexican, every type of friend there is. If you grew up when I grew up, you have all kinds of different friends. None of us judged each other. None of us looked at each other the way you sick people do. None of us. You know what? If this shit happened back when I was growing up, it would be looked for exactly what it is. It wouldn't be, no one would care about the color of the person. No one would care if they're white, black, brown. It wouldn't matter. You would be considered a killer because that's what you are. Yet we live in a world today where it matters. It matters more if you're white than any other color in the world. If you do something, anything, you are, man, we are considered the worst person, the worst type of people on the planet. We are literally talked about in schools, in other countries, and little fucking round tables around people's houses. And I just don't understand it because there's people in this world today who like are absolutely caring, loving people, care about everybody, love everybody, but because they were born with the skin color they were born with, they are fucking judged. You can't go to a college today, you can't go to a school today without people looking at you as if you're the fucking problem in the world. Yet the problem's right in front of you. The problem is right in front of you. It's not white and it's not black, it's evil. Evil doesn't have a color. So let's listen to this though. Let's listen to this little situation right here with this Carmelo Anthony. And I'll tell you this, I'm not one of these YouTubers or TikTokers or Instagram or Snapchat people who give a flying fuck about having viewers, getting likes. I don't care about your gifts. I don't give a shit about what you think. I don't care. I'm here to talk about how I feel and point out how I believe society has come to such a sick fucking state that we better do something soon, or we are going to be completely just abolishing law, period. We are praising killers today, and it matters more if you're white or black, if you're a bad person or not, and that is so fucked up that if you're a white person today and you defend yourself and somebody loses their life, you are looked at as the worst person on the fucking planet for defending yourself. But if you are black today and you kill somebody that is white, you are praised as a hero. And why is that? Because we've come to such a sick fucking place in our society today. That's why. Because we've come to such a sick fucking place that people are not looking at crimes. People aren't looking at people, period. They're only looking at skin color today. Oh, well, what color was he when it happened? That matters to you? That fucking matters to you? That shows how shallow you are. What color the fucking person was. What's it fucking matter? Someone lost their fucking life. Someone's child lost their fucking life. But that don't matter to you. What matters is what color was the other person. What color was the person that lost their life? That's fucking insane that that's all you fucking people care about today. You don't care about people's lives. You care about the color of their fucking skin. And you notice the BLM is anywhere around anywhere that can't get any media attention. Do you notice that? You notice they don't stick their noses anywhere at all that doesn't get media attention. That's pretty fucked up to me. I wouldn't support them people, especially if I was black. Fuck them. Man, you gotta be kidding me. Any race that teaches their children to hate another race is fucking evil. And it's not the race, it's the people. So let's say it for what it is. Any people inside of a race that's going to teach their children that another race is evil because of their skin color is evil. Let me tell you this. People are lucky I am not like the emperor of the world. Just remember that. You're all lucky I'm not the fucking emperor of this planet. Be very fucking thankful for that. Because I think I'd show you what evil was, just to show you. You think this is evil? You think this is bad? Here, let me wipe out all the evil people in the world at once. Or at least let me wipe out everyone I believe is evil. I'll show you what evil is. You think that's evil? You think someone defending their life is evil because of their skin color? And that's your biggest problem today, most of you people out there, is you don't give a fuck what happened. All you care about is the skin color. BLM, all that shit, all they give a fuck about is the person's skin color. And if it doesn't get media attention, they're not there, are they? Nope, they sure the fuck aren't. And you can think whatever you want about me. I don't give a flying fuck what you think about me. Think about that poor child who lost his life. Why don't you think about that? Because you can't. All you can think about is his skin color. Because you're fucking goofies. You're idiots. You're brainwashed by society. You're brainwashed by the media. You're brainwashed by the schools. You're brainwashed by social media. You're brainwashed by every fucking thing around you. You don't listen to sense. You don't listen to the truth. You only hear what you want to hear. What color was he? That's all that fucking matters. What color was he? You know what? This shit wouldn't be getting any attention if it was a white on white or black on black. Would it? Absolutely fucking not, it wouldn't. It'd get none whatsoever. And I mean zero attention. That's how sick you people are. You don't give a fuck about things. You care about attention and skin color. If the skin color doesn't match your narrative, your agenda, you don't give a fuck and you're not there. Are you, BLM? Fuck no, you're not. You don't give a flying fuck. In fact, you're not there. You don't even care if the skin color matches your agenda. If it's not getting you attention, if it doesn't get you the attention you're seeking, you don't give a fuck. You don't care about any kind of people but yourselves and your little organization. One of the alphabet organizations there that have popped up recently. I don't know who's worse, the CIA or the BLM, to be honest with you. We know who's worse. We absolutely know who's worse. It's the CIA, but as far as judgment goes, as far as praising killers goes, as far as only being there for people when it matters to them goes, as far as only coming somewhere and giving it attention if it's already got media attention goes, that's BLM for you. They don't give a fuck about you. Don't ever think they do either. If you think they give a fuck about you, go find out. Go to one of the hoods somewhere, where it's all black people. Go find out if they really give a fuck about them. They don't care and they're not there. They're not shedding the fucking light on how the biggest cities in America have completely overlooked them and given illegal immigrants every fucking thing from the schools to the hotels, food, water, money, clothing, while they overlook the citizens of that fucking town, the black citizens. BLM sitting there supporting the fucking illegal immigration thing, not helping out the black. Are you kidding me? And you guys support them? You guys support a group who praises a killer? Oh wait, I'm sorry, you can't look at him as a killer because his skin color doesn't match your agenda. But if he was white, and the kid who died was black, I'm telling you, let me tell you what would be happening right now. All hell would be breaking loose. And why? Because people don't see things for what they are. They see skin color. That's it. What color was he? What color was he? Oh, it's not that bad. You people. Let's listen to this now. I'm going to shut my fucking mouth. Let's listen to this little ordeal right here.
It's probably because we didn't actually confront Barack Obama after that. The United States of America, he said, And he had a white mom and a black dad, so I guess we all believed him and elected him president a couple times. And let's go ahead and see what happened to race relations after that. You can see here, according to Gallup,
he's showing a graph of race relations before Barack Obama became president, before our first black president, which, you know, everybody said once we got our first black president, it was really going to help race relations around here, because once we got a black president, it would show the rest of the country that America isn't systemically racist. Look, a black man became president. Oh no, that ain't how it went at all. Barack Obama was elected our president, and then everything fucking went down. Race relations in America are at an all-time low today because of the constant pushing, the constant agenda pushing of the media, of social media, of news outlets. It doesn't matter. All they push is race baiting bullshit. Anyway, here we go.
The most accurate pollster in America, that race relations were just totally fine before Barack Obama. Right here.
They were. What did I say in the beginning of this? I said if you were born, if you lived through the 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s, you know that race relations in America were not, they were almost like non-existent. I went to school, I had black friends, Asian friends, Mexican friends, white friends. I had every type of fucking friend there was. And if you lived through the 80s, 90s, or even early 2000s, you understood that. But once 2008 got here, shit started going down. The media started spreading shit about race relations being bad and all this shit about white people and colonists. What they did was they brought back all the evil, horrible things that white people did in the past. This is what they did. This is how they have fucked society up. Once Barack Obama got elected president, for some reason they started bringing up all the horrible things that white people did in the past. And they started telling the black people today that it's our faults today, that it's our faults all this shit happened, that we are guilty of it. We weren't there, we had nothing to do with none of that shit. We have all kinds of friends, and this shit's ridiculous today. And right here what he's saying is that America's race relations sank after Barack Obama became president. And why did they do that? Because they started sharing, they started entertaining the past and acting like us today are the ones who did it, and that we should feel guilty for what other people did to other people. Dude, I'll never feel guilty for something I did not do to you. Why would I feel guilty for something I didn't do? I feel bad for you. I can feel bad for something like, oh man, that sucks, you know, that's a shitty situation. But as far as guilt goes, do you even know what guilt is? Do you know what the definition of guilt is? I'm not gonna ever feel guilty for anything I didn't fucking do to anybody I didn't do it to. Never. Why would I do that? This world is fucked. We're fucked.
And then they collapsed and have cratered down to absolutely, well, the worst race relations we've had since the Civil War. So, something went horribly wrong with this little experiment with Barack Obama. And it's probably because we didn't have
a war that was fought to free slaves, a war that was fought by more white people than any other people, fought by good-hearted white people that did not want slavery, that wanted every man to be free. Well, let's talk about the Civil War and what it was fought over. Freedom. The Civil War was fought over freedom. That's what it was fought over. You had good fucking people that fought for everybody, and you had your evil side that wanted to fight for themselves. They wanted to fight for slavery. They wanted to fight for owning people. That's what they wanted. They wanted to continue to own people. And people like me fought them on it. And guess who won? Well, you see who won. Where are we today? Well, where we should be today isn't where we're at. No, we're not where we should be. We should be way further than we are in race relations today. Fuck. There shouldn't even be a goddamn mention of them. Whoa. Them fuckers up there circling around. I don't know if you can see them in the camera or not. Probably not, which I really don't care if you can or not. Anyway.
Really confront the race issue and the problems in this nation. In fact, we just exacerbated him. Barack Obama said that if he had a son, he'd look like Trayvon Martin, and he fomented race riots in St. Louis. And then, of course, the BLM riots that torched the entire rest of the country. They used race as an opportunity.
Absolutely.
To create political power for themselves off the pain and suffering
so they can get
of others.
Twice.
They created a racist poison pill that they fed a large portion of the country, telling them that all
and a lot of people took that pill and it worked on them.
All of our institutions were systemically racist and needed to be torn down. And that effectively everything is permissible as long as you can say that, well, it's your race. And that's exactly what we have here, ladies and gentlemen. In this despicable stabbing that occurred in the state of Texas, where now we know Carmelo Anthony's last words before he stabbed Austin Metcalf at a track meet with a knife in the heart and killed him. The 17-year-old Metcalf had simply asked Carmelo Anthony to move.
See that right there? I can't co-sign for that shit.
Your style. Your book.
As far as that goes, that whole part where he says he simply asked him to move, I wasn't there. I don't know how that situation went. Like I said in the beginning of this video, they could have walked up to him all aggressively. You know what I mean? All aggressively, and might have made him like scared a little bit, but nobody should have died that day. Like I said, not black, not white, not teacher, not student. Nobody should have died that day. Should have been handled differently. Teachers should have been there to intervene. It should have been handled so much differently, but it wasn't. Instead, someone lost their life, and all people can look at is the skin color of the person that lost their life and the skin color of the person that took it. Nobody's looking at the situation for people. It should be looked at as for what it is. These are two people. Man, take their skin color out of it. People can't do that. All people can see is what color was the person who stabbed him and what color was the person who was stabbed. Oh, the person who stabbed him was black. It's not such a big deal because the person he stabbed was white, and white people are horrible people. What the fuck kind of shit is that? Have you ever heard that? I mean, people are literally going on YouTube, TikTok, and saying he deserved to die because he was white. Nobody deserves to die because they were born. Nobody. Nobody deserves to die because they were born. That boy did not choose his skin color. That boy could have been anything. He didn't choose to be born. He didn't choose to be born the color he was. He didn't choose to be born where he was born in America. And he didn't even choose his own name. Do you understand that? That he didn't have a choice. And I think if more people actually understood that today, understood that we don't have a choice in this world to be born who we're born. We are just born that way. I think more people would stop thinking about skin color so much. But they can't. You know, and it's so sad that all people can think about in this situation is what color was the person who stabbed him? What color was the person who was stabbed? That's fucking sick. It's absolutely sick.
And Carmelo Anthony reached into his bag, pulled out a knife, because that's totally what you bring to a track meet, and committed murder in cold blood.
All right, here we go. As far as that goes, as far as bringing a knife to a track meet goes, I bring a knife everywhere I go. I don't trust a soul on this planet. I believe you need protection with you. I don't care where you're at. And you know what? I'm a father, and I don't agree with kids bringing weapons to school, but they have to worry about kids bringing weapons to school. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, would you want your child unarmed or armed around another child who's armed and plans on harming them? That's never going to happen. So we need more security in our schools. You know, I mean, they can protect our congressmen, our congresswomen, they can protect our president, they can protect everybody else but our children in our schools. What the fuck is that about? There needs to be more security in our schools to protect our children. People need to stop looking at skin color and start looking at incidents. Oh, it matters more because he was white and he was black. Yeah, Oh my God, let a black and white situation happen in any way, shape, or form today in 2025. It is going to be highlighted. It's going to be looked at forever. It's going to be spread across the media, spread across social media. That's all it got to take. It's for them skin colors to match an agenda. Let them both be black and let them both be white. You ain't going to hear shit about it. But let them be black and white. Oh, you're going to fucking hear everything about it because they got to continue to spread their agenda, their narrative. Let's get back to this. Like I was saying, so as far as that knife goes, you know, I'd probably have one with me too. I wouldn't stab nobody ever, but I ain't got nothing to say about that. That kid wasn't doing nothing wrong by having that unless he planned what he did. See, you don't know. See, this is the thing. You don't know these kids. You don't know neither one of these kids. You don't know if they knew each other. You don't know if the one kid who stabbed the other kid has hated him his whole life. You don't know anything about that situation. You don't know if they've ever met, ever talked before. You don't know if they've shared a girlfriend. You don't know if they've had words. You don't know if they've had a history of violence together. You don't know anything. You don't know if that other kid has been plotting on killing the one kid for a long time. You know nothing about that situation, so for you to take sides in it is fucked up. And the only reason people are taking sides today is because they don't care about the situation. They care about the skin color of the two people that were in it. And if them skin colors matched, dark or light, no one would be talking about this. Let's talk about it for what it is.
You'll be shocked to learn
Big
that the
bad
same
bullshit.
people who've been raised on Barack Obama's style of victim politics.
Think about this. Everyone who's been fucking raised since 2005 and up has been taught just a fucked up way of thinking. Their mind is corrupt. They have been taught that people who are born, people who have no choice in their skin color, no choice where they're born, are evil people because they're born, because they don't match the same skin color. Now, if I remember correctly, racism is not liking another people because of their look, because of the way they look, their skin color, whatever. It's not liking the other race because they don't look like you. That's what it is. That's what racism is. That's not what racism is today. No, it's not. You can only be racist if you're white today. And to ask them what it is. It's not racism for them to not like any white person and to want to have all black segregated groups, all black everything. That's not racism. But it is if white people do it. You know, it's such a hypocrisy and such a fucked up world we live in. You know, where you're literally saying the people you hate, the reason you hate them is because they band together in little groups and they keep you out of them and they mistreat you, right? Well, you're actually saying that people from the past did this to you, that they banned you from their groups, they segregated you. People from the past did this. They segregated you, they banned you from their groups, their schools, everything. So you want to do this to people today, you want to do the same exact thing to them that was done to your people in the past by people who didn't do it to you or them. Now, if you ask anybody else, that's not evil or racism, that's just justice. To do the same exact thing that was done to your people, to people who had nothing to do with it, that's called justice. That's not called racism. White people can't be racist, remember? They can't be racist. Only white people can be racist. Only white people can have slaves. Only white people can be evil, right? It's only white people, because the people today don't look at the crimes of any other race. They don't care. They do not give a fuck if Genghis Khan killed more people than anybody in the world and he was Asian. They don't care about that. He's not even talked about. The guy down the street from your house, let him kill 2 people and be white. He'll be talked about for a long fucking time because he's white. The truth is the truth.
Are totally defending this behavior.
Yes.
And are in fact excited to donate to Carmelo Anthony, as he has raised $160,000 from presumably black or woke Americans.
Yeah, now he's sitting in jail,
of the,
or should be sitting in jail talking to other people who have been brainwashed to hate other races.
Unarmed, innocent young man has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars.
No, hundreds.
For people like this.
Not gonna make me believe or feel any kind of sympathy for Austin Metcalf at all. He put his hands on that young man when he should have kept them hands to himself. When the young man told him, touch me and see, you better not touch me, that meant that I don't want you in my space, I don't want you touching me. Rosa Parks days is over. You cannot think that you can move somebody out of a seat that you don't own and think that it's going to be okay. And you can't determine how I'm going to retaliate on you when you put your hands on me in an aggressive...
All right, would she be saying this if he was white? There we go. Let's talk about it. Would she be saying the same thing if he was white? At all? Anything remotely close to it? Would she be saying that if he was white and he said all the same stuff that Carmelo Anthony said? Touch me and find out. What do you think she would be saying if he was white and the kid who got stabbed was black? What do you think she'd be saying? You think she'd be saying the same thing right here? Come on, be real. Be real with yourself, not me or anybody else. Think about it silently in your fucking head. You need to change your way of thinking. You've been fucking brainwashed. You people are fucking sick and ridiculous.
Man, Austin Metcalf got exactly what he deserved.
Oh.
This is incredible. These same people that...
Wow, you hear that? That boy who lost his life got what he deserved, she said. And like I said, she said he deserved it because the kid said don't touch him, right? But just reverse them roles right there. Reverse them roles. What do you think she'd be saying then? Do you think she'd be saying anything she's saying? Do you think she'd be saying, he got exactly what he deserved. That white boy told him leave him alone. He didn't want to do it. He got what he deserved. You think she'd be saying that if the roles were reversed? Fuck no. She's only defending skin color. She ain't defending action. She's defending skin color because she's the same skin color, which is fucking sick and racist. It needs to be fucking called out more. These people need to shut the fuck down.
Defend George Floyd to their last breath,
yeah.
And would carry George Floyd's
listen,
golden...
If some man, I don't care what color you are, listen to this. If some man held your mother, your sister, your wife hostage while she was pregnant and held a knife to her, would you ever consider that man a hero? If some man ever held a knife to your mother, your pregnant sister, your pregnant cousin, your pregnant lover, would you consider that man a hero? While he sat there and held a knife and threatened to kill the unborn baby and your mother? Would you consider that man a hero? No, you wouldn't? Well, guess what? You consider George Floyd a fucking hero, and he did that and much more.
Coffin.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It would have to be your mother. That's why, because it wasn't your mother he did it to. It wasn't your sister he did it to. It wasn't your lover he did it to, so it doesn't matter to you. But if it was, you would never call that man a hero, because he's not a hero. That man's not a hero.
Floyd was...
You put a statue up for somebody who put a knife to a pregnant woman, who robbed people, who did drugs, and he's a hero. Yeah.
Fighting with the cops for about a half an hour straight, was committing crimes, was high off his ass on fentanyl, sit there saying, well, you know what, you don't follow instructions, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, it's demonic. It's a sick way to live, and
hey, the only thing I can say is I would not have let that cop sit there and do what he did. I don't care who. Like, I wouldn't have known nothing about George Floyd. If I was actually there with George Floyd when that shit happened, like all them other goofy people were, let me tell you something, I might have lost my life that day. Because I would have fucking speared that cop like Goldberg right off of him. Right the fuck off him. I would never let nobody, I don't care what their skin color is, lose their life in front of me. But then after I found out that he had a knife to a pregnant woman, I would have felt guilty about removing that cop off of him. But if I was there on the scene, I didn't know nothing about George Floyd at the time. I would never have stood there like all them goofies did and recorded it. Hell no, I would have Goldberg speared that cop. I would have probably lost my life that day because I knew nothing about that man. But today I do. I know a lot about that man. And he's not a fucking hero. He should have never have lost his life the way he lost his life, but he ain't no fucking hero. And you a fucking goofy if you think you are. Or you just, one of them race baiting piece of shit BLM people.
That's something that is being split among racial lines. The last words that were said to Austin Metcalf here by Carmelo Anthony is this: touch me and see what happens. And then what happened was he was stabbed immediately in the chest with a black knife.
Okay.
By this stand-up student.
See, hold on a second here. He said, touch me and see what happens. This is where I don't like the line. I don't care. No one should have lost their life, but I don't like this type of stuff. We don't know. We still don't know if... So he said, touch me and see what's happened, and stabbed him. I heard the white kid put his hands on him first. See, but he's not saying that. This, what's his name? Benny Johnson. He's not saying that the white kid pushed him or touched him in any way. He just said that the white kid said, get out of our spot. And the black kid said, touch me and see what happens, and stabbed him in the chest. And he's making it sound like, I feel like he's pushing a narrative right here that the black kid said what he said and then just stabbed him. And there was nothing in between. And he needs to change his shit if that's not what happened. Because that's what he's leading people to believe. Not that it matters. Nobody should have been stabbed that day. But he's leading people to believe right here, this Benny Johnson dude, that the black kid said, touch me and see what happens, then just stab him. And I don't like that because we don't know if that's what happened. Nobody should have died that day. Skin color shouldn't be looked at, but that's what's being looked at. I probably wouldn't even be talking about this if it was white on white or black on black. And that's the fucking truth. But this Benny Johnson dude right here, he's very popular. He has 2.9 million subscribers on YouTube. There's 77,000 views on this video, 11,000 likes. This guy is viewed. He's a big name out here. And I don't think he should be pushing this kind of, this is definitely 100%. He is making it look like the white kid said move and the black kid said touch me and see what happens, and then just stabbed him in the chest right away. That's what he just said here. I'll rewind it just so you can hear the same thing.
Split among racial lines. The last words that were said to Austin Metcalf here by Carmelo Anthony is this: touch me and see what happens. And then what happened was he was stabbed immediately in the chest with a black knife by this stand-up student who just it's the good students that stab people for talking to them at track meets.
See, right there again, he says it's the good students who stab people for talking to them. He's not mentioning that what everyone else is mentioning, that the white kid pushed him. Not that dude. See, when I don't like even saying it because I feel like people think I'm defending the other one's actions. No, nobody should have died that day. He should have fought like a man, if anything. If anything, the black kid should have got up and fought like a man. But see, I don't like this Benny Johnson dude's little push to this because he keeps making it seem like the white kid said move and the black kid said touch me and see what happens, and then just attacked him right away. That's what he's spreading right here.
So is the best of them that stand-up student?
Listen.
Who it's the good students that stab people for talking to them at track meets.
See what he said? To make you think that all that happened was a conversation. And we don't know that. I'm not saying that's not all that happened. I don't fucking know. But Benny Johnson right here, who has over 2 million subscribers, is letting you know basically that the kid just attacked the other one without any provocation. And I think he shouldn't be doing this for somebody as big as he is. I think the whole situation's wrong. I don't think no one should have died that day. But this Benny Johnson dude has a little more subscribers than most people. And what he says, people are going to listen to and hook onto. And he is spreading a narrative right now, making people think that the white kid said move, the black kid said touch me and see what happens, and then just attacked him, just stabbed him. That he's a good student, and it's the good students who stab people for talking to people. Well, we don't know yet. I don't for sure know yet if that's exactly what happens, and I don't like somebody pretending that that's exactly what happened, especially if he doesn't know.
It's always the best of them that bring
And I also don't like how he's like painting the other kid that did the stabbing, like, oh, the best of them. He's like making him look like a horrible person. He might have just had a really fucking bad day that day. His brain might not have been operating right. We don't know. We have no clue what was going on. And I'm not defending him. And I hope people don't think I'm defending him. Like, if you listen to this whole video, you'll absolutely know I'm not defending him. But you need to understand, when people like this tell you the story, they tell you the story how they want to tell you the story. And it's both sides to it. I feel like there's no one like me in the world anymore. And what do I mean by that? An in-between person. Someone who doesn't choose sides. Someone who truly listens to everything that really happened. Makes a decision based off that. Not off of skin color. Not off of agenda pushing. But bases the decision off of the facts that actually happened. I feel like there's nobody left in the world like that. I feel like everybody has to pick a side today. That nobody can look at things from in the middle at all. Like this situation with the Carmelo Anthony stabbing. That whole situation. People only want to see skin color. That's all they want to see. They don't want to hear, see nothing else but skin color. They need to look at the whole thing. They don't need guys like this who have over 2 million fucking subscribers telling you that the kid was just talked to and then stabbed the other kid for just talking to him. And he's painting the picture for you to see Carmelo Anthony as the worst kind of person. And we don't know nothing about him. And I'm not saying he's a good person. Anybody who kills somebody is not a great person at that moment, that's for sure. But we don't know what happened. We don't know the history of these two. We don't know shit. So to hear somebody saying, to hear somebody saying that he just attacked him when we don't know if that's what happened yet or not. Like, I've heard that the other kid pushed him first. He said, touch me and see what happens. And then he got touched and then he acted. Not that it makes it right to kill anybody, because it doesn't. Like I said, he should have fought like a fucking man. He probably would have beat his ass anyway. I don't know. It looks like he probably would have beat the fucking brakes off of the other dude. Yet he stabbed him instead. Made the bad choice of stabbing somebody. Let's continue.
Knives to track meets. Didn't you bring knives to track meets? Is that what you did as a young man?
I'll tell you this, like, once again, I bring knives everywhere I go. I don't agree with children bringing knives to schools or anything, but this is such a fucked up world. You can't trust nobody, and I believe everybody should be protecting themselves, because you can't even walk out your door today without worrying about something fucked up like this happening because of race baiting, because of social media, because of the news media. You know, you got to worry about your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Hodge twins breaking down some of the sentiment for Carmelo Anthony on TikTok.
I'm on TikTok and I'm looking at everybody's reactions about what happened between Austin Metcalf and Carmelo Anthony, right? And the black reaction is what you expect.
But white people, obviously not all of you, so let me just get that out the way. But a bunch of y'all are just a bunch of racist, bigoted, crisis actors.
People really believe that kid had the right to tell Carmelo to move. This kid wasn't working security. He wasn't given no responsibility. He wasn't the seat manager. Like, if that kid would have just minded his own business, would he not still be
So let me ask you something. If somebody's taking over my house and they're opposite skin color, am I supposed to just mind my own business? Are you kidding me? I believe that tent was assigned to them other kids, and they know that. You know that when you're going to track meets and you're at events, you have assigned places that you go to. They're assigned to you, so you know right where you're supposed to be. So that's bullshit right there, obviously.
A lot of people were trying to make it a race issue, and it's not. It has nothing to do with that right there. This was self-defense. And this is all over TikTok. I see a lot of posts on Facebook. Too much this is self-defense. Yeah. From one demographic of people. Yeah, it's all black people. Did he have any interest? Did you see his mugshot? Clean face, nothing. No scratches, no nothing. No punches were thrown from what I heard so far.
The secret to our deodorant is sand. We got a crazy message from a customer named Mina. Here it is.
Like I said, everything we're hearing is what we've heard so far. We don't know what really happened. See, you hear that right there? No punches were thrown. The white kid didn't attack him or do anything. That's what you're hearing from them right there, and what you're hearing from a lot of people. But you're also hearing that he did. The kid defended himself. So you don't know what to believe there.
Because there is no justification for killing somebody for talking to you. So Austin Metcalf killed because he talked to Carmelo Anthony. This is the state of America that we're in. This is why the numbers for race relations look like this. Because if you talk to the wrong person, then you're just going to get stabbed and die. Thousands of people in the black community have rallied around Carmelo Anthony and given $160,000 as a reward for murdering a white kid.
That's fucking crazy.
Is what Matt Walsh has to say. The fundraiser for thug Carmelo Anthony, who admitted to killing Austin Metcalf, has now reached $150,000. An atrocity. People donating have no shame. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked in the street by an aggressive mob. Daniel Penny stood up to a violent criminal. Carmelo Anthony killed somebody in cold blood because they talked to him. But sure, let's pretend it's all the same. There are 12 different fundraisers on GoFundMe for Carmelo Anthony, the man charged with murder. You cannot coexist with people who call Carmelo Anthony a victim. These same people would stab you too. For what? Yep. For talking to you?
Yep. Yes, they would.
You can't go talk to somebody? Ask them.
If you were my skin color and you tried talking to these people who are siding with Carmelo Anthony, they would stab you too. They would stab me, they would stab you because we don't match their skin color. But they're not racist whatsoever. We are for existing.
A question?
We are for being born.
You're no longer allowed to do that?
Nope.
Because of some...
I started this video like that, you know? You're not allowed to be white anymore. We are the worst people on the planet now.
Racial injustice? At some point, because of Rosa Parks? If Rosa Parks wasn't stabbing her way through the bus, if I recall the story of Rosa Parks.
Well, you're saying that wrong. See, don't listen to this guy, man. He's saying that all wrong. That's not even what they said. They said the Rosa Parks days are over. They didn't say Rosa Parks was on the bus swinging. That's why I do not choose sides.
Oh, Anthony.
This guy right here has 2 million followers, and he's spreading agenda. I don't like that.
I've increased their donation request to $150,000, literal minutes after reaching their initial goal. So they're grifting now off of this. It's all a grift. Well, thank God the grift is hopefully over and over soon, as the fundraiser, GoFundMe, has been taken offline now. The fundraiser is now officially gone, hopefully due to the terms of service that says we're not going to be raising money for cold-blooded killers or murderers, right? Jason Whitlock, who has been sounding off on this, had something I think insightful to say. That the fundraiser itself may have been fraudulent. The kid who killed Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony, hear me out. My belief is that most of this stuff you're seeing on this app defending Carmelo Anthony, the murderer, is bought and paid for by his defense team, leftist NGOs agitating for racial conflict. It's not organic. You pay key race-bait influencers to post stuff in his defense, and then you go to the groupthink, radical idolatry to take over. Next thing you know, a cut-and-dry case becomes a clickable, ratings-driven narrative about America's racial history and unfair criminal justice system. That's exactly what they did with George Floyd and BLM. This is the Matrix.
Okay, so I believe they want a civil war, but let me tell you something. Listen to this. If a real civil war broke out between black and white in this country, let me tell you something right now. There would be white people who would try to side with the black people, right? And they would find out they're not welcome very quickly with their lives. They would find out that their skin color doesn't match. They would find out the whole time they've been supporting that bullshit was for nothing. Because if shit ever hits the fan in an actual race war in America, never forget this. There's 350 million American citizens. Oh, I think there's not even 100 million black and Mexican put together. Maybe if you put all the blacks and all the other races together, there's over 100 million. But guess what the rest of the country is? Guess what? Guess what over 220 million people in America are today? They're white. So I don't know how that would turn out. I mean, there's literally 2 to 1 for every person, and I don't know. That would be a horrible time in the world. But I feel like they're trying to get to that. With incidents like this. Like, what if, let's just say, what if? Now, we know most likely this isn't the case at all. But I'm thinking right now, what if that boy was planted there to do that? Because they want to start some bullshit off in America. What if? Wouldn't that be fucked up? Now, I don't think that, nor do I believe that, like whatsoever. But man, if you found out something like that, dude, I'd lose all faith in everything. Because you know what, man, dude, that would mean that there are people literally out here trying to create. There's my buddy. There he is. Hey, buddy, you wanna? There you go. There you go, buddy. You want that? There you go. There you go, buddy. Oh, sorry. My buddy Quasi. Shit, I'm with the peanut there. Tried giving him that piece of chocolate, but I don't think he saw it. I'll throw this one out. Here you go, buddy. There you go. Why don't you try that out? That's a Reese's Pieces peanut butter cup there. Let's see if you like that. I'll throw this out there for you. And that out there. And that out there. There you go, buddy. Got a couple out there for you. All right. Now I forgot what I was talking about because my squirrel came. Thank God, though. You know what? We live in a messed up world. If you can't tell, we live in a messed up world today, and like skin color matters more than actions. Well, I wish I was you.
Work doing what is designed to divide black and white America and distract from the truth. We're in a battle of good versus evil. Unfortunately, black Americans have been brainwashed into demonic black culture, religion, established by Hollywood and the music industry. We should pray for deliverance and point to Christ
You said
and the cross.
sandwiched by Hollywood and the music industry. What about social media? What about the news, the media, mainstream media? Hold on, dude. You need to tell you need to tell these people who's really spreading this shit around. Yeah, Hollywood's involved, but the media and social media are the true culprits here.
All Elsa's points. And plays into the hands of Satan. Thank you for reading. Yeah, talk about playing into the hands of Satan. His lawyer, the lawyer for the murderer, Carmelo Anthony, is now saying, well, he's been treated too harshly. The attorneys say they're working with the Collin County District Attorney's Office to seek an agreement for a better determination of the filed murder charge. They want the charges reduced, and they want to get rid of the excessive $1 million bond.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little silly goosey. No lie, this shit's working.
I don't know if I can finish anymore. I'm totally feeling it.
Me too.
But if he was white, they'd be asking for a higher bond.
Is it a George Soros district attorney? So scumbag lawyer here saying, I know my client said it was self-defense. I don't have any reason to disbelieve that. I don't need to develop facts or talk to people and figure out what's going on before I make a statement. But what I think happened, we're committed to ensuring that his rights are protected. They're asking now for the charges to be reduced severely. When he just straight up stabbed someone in cold blood, murdered him. Matt Walsh has gone insanely viral for this post with 174,000 likes and 19,000 reposts and 19 million views. If I told you that a young man stabbed another young man to death for telling him that he was in the wrong seat, and then I told you that one young man in this altercation was white and the other was black, and then I asked you to guess the race of the assailant, every single person would know the answer immediately. Young black males are violent to a wildly, outrageously disproportionate degree. That is a fact. We all know it, and it's time we speak honestly about it, or nothing else will ever change. This is the kind of change that you could bring about if you were, let's say, Barack Obama. Right about here, you see, when Barack Obama was elected, race relations were peachy. In fact, look at this. Bring about if you were, let's say, guessed the race of the assailant, every single person to death for telling him that he was in the wrong seat. And then I told you that one young man, 19,000 reposts and 19 million views. If I told you that a young man stabbed another young man to death for telling him that he was in the wrong seat. And then I told you that one young man in this altercation was white and the other was black. And then I asked you to guess the race of the assailant. Every single person would know the answer immediately. Young black males are violent to a wildly, outrageously disproportionate degree. That is a fact. We all know it, and it's time we speak honestly about it, or nothing else will ever change. This is the kind of change that you could bring about if you were, let's say, Barack Obama. Right about here, you see, when Barack Obama was elected, race relations were peachy. In fact, look at this. Would you say that race relations between white and black people are very good, somewhat good, or very bad? White adults, black adults. Everyone around here saying it's in the 60s and 70s, saying that things are good. Things are pretty good. Blacks and whites, things are pretty good all throughout Obama. And then Obama decided, oh, wait, I need to win an election. I need to win re-election. Things aren't going great. And so Obama starts to destroy race relations in this country, and they haven't recovered. They never will. Until somebody actually has the balls to talk about data like this. About the extreme disproportion of young black Americans to violence. Look at this. Oh, and by the way, like in case you're wondering, like yes, there are tons of white victims. Race of the victim. Race of the offender. Okay. But this is actually the black people, by and large, are the victim of other black people. And they make up like 12% of the population. And they commit this massively outsized number of murders here in the
Before I
country.
even got to this shit I said earlier, all that matters is skin color. And I told you there's 200-something million Americans in this country. I don't know how a civil war would go if all the whites actually fought with each other. And I'm telling you they would have to, because if people like me tried fighting on the black people's side, they'd show us that we're not the right color with our lives.
This is FBI statistics. And they haven't released these statistics for a very long time, which is
And
it really makes you wonder, like,
just so we're clear here on YouTube, I have black friends, I have Latino friends, I have white friends. If you want to ever see them, they'll drop by and say hi. They'll also say fuck your BLM and anything else you want them to fucking say that you think that they won't, because they ain't for that shit. They live real life. They live with the people around them, not with the agenda pushers. They're not watching the fucking media every day and thinking about the colonists and slavery. They're thinking about what they can do to get ahead. They're thinking about what they can do to live through this fucking day to day. Because now is what matters. Hey, buddy. Oh, you got your chocolate? Yes, he did. You want another one?
are they committed to solving the actual problem and
There
talking
you go,
about the
buddy. I
underlying
got
issue here?
another one. Oh, you want another
This
one,
is the
buddy?
total number of homicide deaths
You can go, buddy.
in America.
Oh, he got the
You
peanut.
can see here an absolute explosion
Yep, he did.
with black on black
He got that piece
crime,
of chocolate.
but also
He
black
was happy.
black on white crime here. So black people killing white Americans,
Here you go, buddy.
566. They haven't released updated versions of this data in a very long time. You may need to see the data proving that black males are disproportionately violent. Okay, well, literally all crime stats bear this out. Let's start with this. Matt Walsh saying, well, part of my tweet is factually incorrect. To be clear, I said that black males are disproportionately violent, and your response is to imply that if I said that to a black male, he would become violent towards me. Well, okay then, I guess we're in agreement here. So Matt Walsh said, and this also caused some heat. If you told me a young man committed a mass shooting, I would guess black and be correct in almost every case. But if you specifically said the location was a school, then pretty much, and only then, I would guess white. Still, the point is that young black males commit more homicides. Oops, it looks like I'd be wrong. 35 black school shooters in 2023, 4 Hispanic, 4 white school shooters, and 1 Asian school shooter. Data and statistics are the enemy of central anti-white narratives. Yikes. School shootings by race. Red is death. Shootings and injuries. Goodness gracious.
I have some late payments on my credit report.
support, there were faults. It was more of a frustration and a disappointment. And
these are the kind of issues that would be really great to have someone like Barack Obama. You know, Barack Obama would have been the perfect messenger on this kind of stuff, right? Black on white homicides, nearly 15,000. White on black homicides, 6,000. You never know it.
Damn. That's a lot.
You got more than double. And yet, the population of white versus black in this country,
we're way more.
I mean, again, it's like only 12 or 13% of the country, white, is black. And then like 60% of the country is white. So, like, if it was 50-50, these would already be horrible statistics. The fact that it's such a small number of the population is really, truly atrocious. And it would be great to have an actual, real conversation about this. And to really like start talking about why is this subsection of the population so inherently violent. This would be like obviously a great thing for everyone, including black people who are the main victims of black crime. But I don't think that we have the capacity for that conversation today, sadly, because of individuals
It's time to win.
who've been broken by the system. And this kind of stuff, this kind of like thinking is genocidal, right? But these people want to genocide.
It's fucking sick.
Like, this is what you're not, like, the lady makes the case here. You're not allowed to ever speak to any young black man. Otherwise, get ready you get what's coming to you if you do that.
You deserve it. That's what she said.
You'll die. You deserve it.
She says you will deserve what you get. But reverse them roles. She would not say a word. Let me tell you something. Reverse the roles of what this woman right here said. That white boy got what he deserved because that white boy told a black boy to move. And that black kid said, touch me and see what happens. The white boy touched him, is what she said, and the black boy stabbed him. Well, if them roles were reversed, she would not be saying none of this shit at all. She wouldn't be saying he got what he deserved if he was black. I guarantee it. She'd be calling for a war.
Thing of death. This is the point. This is like what's being argued here. How do you negotiate with that? How do you come to peace with that? You can't. You can't. So that's what needs to change. The data backs it up. I know Walsh caught a ton of heat for this, but the data backs it up. And maybe it's time now to start having that conversation. Don't you want to live in a peaceful society? Don't you want to live in a society where like your kids don't get stabbed at a track meet? What world is this? I certainly do. Right? Okay. I mean, the data is the enemy of.
Well, as far as the data being the enemy, I don't know. Let's hear this. This was posted 11 minutes ago by the officer Tatum. So let's listen to this for now. I'm just going to be quiet during this.
I was like, okay, he wants to protect black women, and this is very important. And then I looked on every one of the episodes that you had to see if there was any guys on here that beat up black women. And there were. And I looked to see if you guys addressed it on the pod. And you didn't.
History, I don't think the Texas Bucks that was had on this joke about black women and Ryan Clark, who's a hypocrite, and he's finna get embarrassed to no end by Andrew Schultz. But let's play this clip so you can see where it all started from, and then you're gonna hear the response from Andrew Schultz. Roll the clip.
Wait, what is the black girlfriend effect?
You never know about throw out the other culture.
Yeah, so you'll see a guy who's had a black girlfriend, all of a sudden he's got a buzz cut, like, shape up.
I like that.
They shave their hair because they start losing it. because it's like stressing around this black girl complaining about that's why they gotta shave their
Nah, bro. White guys with black girlfriends, they grow beard. They set the dick up.
more cushion when they get slapped the ass.
Now, it's a joke. They're telling jokes. They're laughing. It's a joke. Stereotypical things that people complain about black women doing. They make a joke on a podcast from a comedian. I don't know if you guys know, but Andrew Schultz is a comedian. He had a Netflix stand-up show. He's one of the biggest comedians in the country. But you know the disingenuous black folks, they disingenuous. They can talk about white people all day long. They can joke about white people all day long. But let a white man say a single joke and then say it's a joke and they get mad. Listen to Ryan Clark's criticism of Andrew Schultz, clip 16. I want y'all to see this. Listen to this fool. Y'all heard what Andrew Schultz said. The two dummies who came on the Andrew Schultz podcast apologized to their audience and they got all this backlash from black women. And then because Brian Clark is a fake social justice warrior. Fake. And when I call him this is because he's too grown to be this silly. This is what he says, Roland.
The thing about what Andrew said, though, that I disagree with was that I was speaking on what he did to gain clout. No one in the world defends black women to gain clout. Most of the time, the people defending black women are black women. What people do most times is what Andrew did. What people do most times is what the two young podcasters did. They laugh and they make jokes and they disrespect. And I get for Andrew, he said it was said in jest, and that's fine. That's why what I said, he made it a 10-minute soliloquy when he talked to Charlamagne. It was 5 minutes. 20 seconds was about Andrew Schultz. The beginning to set up what I was going to say was, here's what Andrew Schultz says. Now let me give you my experience. See, my issue is,
Oh, yeah.
wait,
Hey, Medic, what kind of dinosaur is this?
That is a
he has an issue with me talking about what he said when it's cool to make jokes, it's cool to make them the butt of those jokes, but it's not cool for me to share my good experiences with black women. It's not cool for me to give you the historic view of what black women have done in support of black men. To me, make that make sense. Why is it corny for me to now respond to this in defense of black women when I'm getting sent your clip with people asking me, what do you think about this? When I'm walking around my house every day looking at black women who would give their lives for me. When I was raised by one that would give their life for me. That's not corny. That's not clout chasing. I'm not looking for friends. I'm not looking to people.
It is corny. It is corny. The man told a joke. He did it in jest. And now you got to defend black. You don't need to defend black women. They're not little dogs. They can't speak for themselves. Every black woman ain't good. And every black woman ain't bad. You don't need to defend them. The ones that are stupid are the ones he's talking about. If you got good experiences, he clearly not talking about black women who are good. Even not in jest. But you feel you need to defend black women. Why white men don't think they need to defend white women? Because they understand that people are joking. And they don't project their own insecurities. You know black women they struggling. That's why you feel you need to defend them. White people can compartmentalize this and say, yeah, there's a bunch of white women that ain't nothing. And then there's good white women like my mama. I don't need to defend that. It's common sense. Finish it.
For people to push me up on a pedestal. And clearly, if you still are responding about what I said, I don't need no clout either, right? Because I'm in a space where y'all can already hear me. And so to me, I don't think that it was what he made it out to be. And the larger problem I had was he claimed on, and I talked to Shannon on the phone, and I put it on a comment, he claimed that I said he would say the N-word, and that's not true. He told me I should have been speaking about those brothers, and I was, because I said it's brothers like that allow people to be comfortable enough to make excuses as to why they disrespect black people and black women. And by the time I got to the end of it, because I went back and rewatched it, I wanted it to be very clear that these are my experiences and the experience of others, even though yours may be different. We've said.
Hold on. I'm tired of listening to him. Just know it's finna get worse, because this is just the beginning of him saying something stupid. Now, let's play Andrew Schultz on Shannon Sharp's show. I'm gonna try to play it quickly, because I want y'all to get to the point where Andrew Schultz just blow him out of the water. Roll the clip about the black girl effect.
Yeah.
So tell me how did that conversation come about?
Yeah.
And then tell me what you were thinking when you said what you said.
So what was the black girlfriend effect is essentially like when a white guy dates a black girl, he starts to glow up. He like starts to like look better.
Right.
He gets like a beard and you know shape up, and he's just like fine. And I've heard of the black girlfriend effect. So what was he saying? Referencing it? It was like Travis Kelce or something like that.
Yeah, I think because he was saying they glow up, they start to look different, they get beards and things like that. And I think you said but they go bald because they.
No, that's what I was like. So for me, I'm like, this is a comedy podcast. I'm like making a joke. First of all, I hate explaining jokes. I can't believe I'm even doing this. It's like so stupid. But so I'm like, what is the opposite take? A lot of times in comedy, the opposite take is the funny thing.
Look at the other side.
So you go the other side and you try to defend the indefensible or whatever it is. This is what I've done my entire career. So the opposite take is, no, actually the reason why they're shaping up their hair because they're going bald, because they're stressed out, they're going to beards, so there's more padding in case they get slapped.
Right.
It's just the opposite take of the black girlfriend effect being, you look so much better.
Right.
It's really not that sophisticated. But they went on another podcast and said they didn't think that girls in Atlanta were pretty. So black women in Atlanta were very offended by these two English dudes, black dudes, that were basically calling girls in Atlanta ugly. This is like the hub of black culture in America.
Yeah.
And you're just going to call the black women ugly. So they were ripping them, and then they started ripping them for laughing at my joke.
Oh.
So it wasn't really about what I said. It was, look how corny these guys are. And they are corny. Look how corny these guys are. Here's another example of their corniness. Right? And then Ryan Clark took a break from posting pictures of his outfits on Instagram to do a whole soliloquy.
Man, why you on RC, man? You need to have a conversation. Ryan's a good dude, man.
No, I know. Everybody tells me he's a good dude. But he did that, and he it just felt like it was all clout, and he tried to make it this big thing, and he's like, by the end of it, he's like, he's one of these guys that wants to say the N-word but doesn't, and I was like, what the is going on? Like, what are we even talking about?
Right.
The stories about those guys who insulted the black women and laughing at that joke. And then he kind of reframed it and then made it about me.
All right, now let's listen to Andrew Schultz call out Ryan Clark. Hold on, this is the beautiful part. I wish I'd have played this at the beginning. Y'all probably didn't want to watch all that, but I had to put the context here. I didn't watch the full thing because it was so cringy on Ryan Clark's black people not being held accountable for their own stupidity they do. They'll point the finger at the white man, but they doing worse in their own space. You know what I'm talking about. Roll the clip.
I'll tell you what my you want to know what my initial reaction is, which I think is kind of unfair, but my initial reaction was when I saw you guys talking about it, and I was like, okay, he wants to protect black women, and this is very important. And then I looked on every one of the episodes that you had to see if there was any guys on here that beat up black women, and there were. And I looked to see if you guys addressed it on the pod, and you didn't. Okay. Now I also saw you guys had the episode with DeAndre's mom talking about domestic violence. So I was like, okay, this is good and this is powerful, this is important. But my knee-jerk reaction was, man, I get a whole section that's not even part of an episode, and these guys who we know have actually for a joke, and these guys who have actually hurt black women and convicted, not allegations. I don't go off of allegations, I go off of conviction. Everybody can get an allegation, means nothing. And then these guys, they don't get anything. So in that moment, I was like, this feels like a clout play. It doesn't feel like the highest priority is protecting these women. So that was my initial reaction.
So I'm gonna say this.
Yeah.
We have had people on this show that have been convicted for domestic violence that have pulled it out of the show.
That pulled it out of
that I have asked about it.
Oh, and they're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, and I do, because people come on our show voluntarily. Of course, I do ask those questions in respectful ways. Right, I'm not, hey man, you're a woman beater, but I will say, in one of the instances that was pulled, I said, look, you were convicted of something that no man. what's attached to his name.
Amen.
And they answered it. We talked to their people. I was like, man, the answer was good. Like, and they pulled it out of the show. So we've had that happen. We also had an instance with one of our guests who was talking about sexual assault, and he talked about it in a way that almost said that, okay, how do we blame the women? And I addressed that as well.
Yeah.
So as far as for me, I try to address it in every opportunity that I get a chance to with them.
Yeah.
I try to ask them questions in ways that they get to tell their side of the story.
Yeah.
When they sit with us, I do not bash them over the head with it, condemn them, or judge them in the moment.
Yeah.
I do try to have a conversation about it.
We're all like hypocrites. Like nobody's perfect. Do you know what I mean? Like I've had people on the like I've had a president on the podcast. Like nobody's killed more people than a president. You know what I mean? Like anybody who sat down, if you sat down with Obama, hundreds of thousands of people are dead because of decisions that he thought were in the best interests of America, right? Same thing if you sat down with Clinton, you sat down with anybody, right? Like I did a buddy of mine's podcast, and he brought up the fact that I had Alex Jones on my podcast. He did one of the most heinous things in history, where he said that those kids were faking it in the school shooting. Remember that? Like that's a heinous, yeah, San Diego. I mean, disgusting, heinous. I had a buddy of mine. I went on his podcast, and he was like, "I can't believe he did that." That was like so fucked up, like what he did to those kids. And I was like, "You visited the Pope." You know what I mean? Like they were protecting people and kids. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you had the opportunity to go meet them, and you're like, "I'll do that." And like they were literally protecting priests that were having sex with children. Like I can't think of any. Like so, we can always find the moral equivalency or the moral high ground, which was a thing that I did with you guys. But I hesitated to like go out and talk about that publicly. This is why I did, is because the point of that is not to protect those women or to protect the children. The point of that is to make you feel bad or me feel good. And now we're using victims as a tool. I don't want to do that.
he was nice about it, but this is the hypocrisy. And it's unfortunate because I think it's one-sided a lot of the times. Maybe because that's just what I see on my feed. But, you know, quit grandstanding and acting like you holier than thou when it comes to white people doing stuff against black people. Because black people should be the only ones talking about black people. But they don't talk about black people at all. You know, except me, and then I look like an Uncle Tom Coon sellout because I'm actually saying things that nobody else wants to say that are black. That's just like a cop. When cops be cutting up and doing stuff, it's up to people who are cops to give the interpretation properly. But if cops never give a fair interpretation, what do we have out there? Other people who are not cops having to overcompensate and say something. Because you got to call out cops when they're doing bad things too, as a cop. And you got to call them out when they getting falsely accused. The same thing with black people. If a black person did something and they right and they're getting falsely accused, I'm gonna stand up for that person. If a black person doing something wrong, then I'm gonna call them out. Wrong is wrong. But the problem is some people don't ever want to be called wrong. All right.
Well, it's time to go.